Welcome to Locker Room Sports Talk.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Locker Room Sports. Glad you come by and hang out with me for a few minutes here. Hey, if you're on podcast, and that's what you like to listen to us on, we're always over there on iHeartRadio. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. So if you're thinking, hey, I'm seeing these guys over here on YouTube and stuff and Facebook, and I'm just not able to tune in over there all the time, and I just can't seem to always find the time to make it over there. So today's your lucky day because you can go right over there to any of your podcast and you can definitely find us live. I'll always put the shows up right there on Spotify and Applecast and all those places. So today, what are we talking about? Who's got the best shot at taking a good chance to win the national championship this year? Who do y'all like? Texas is a huge favorite. I mean, they're just a huge favorite right now. And Alabama, yeah, some people may be kicking that idea around. Maybe not, maybe so. Tell us what you think, though. We've got plenty of time I try to let it roll for a few minutes when we come in here on this. Let people come on in the show. People's got getting in from work and eating dinner and getting the kids washed up and getting them ready. So we'll give them just a few minutes there to lock that in. So other than that, how's everybody doing today? Got back warm again. It has. So we'll get over here and check this out here on old Facebook. Looks like it's doing pretty good. And we'll change this right here. Let's see. Background styles. Well, let's see here. Try to figure this out. There we go. That's not it either. Okay, we'll go right here, go to visual, and go to blur. Got that about right there. There we go. All right, what's going on, everybody? Locker Room Sports. Right here live Thursday night. You try to jump on here about 6 o'clock. So odds favorites as win the national championship. We've been through all the teams all through the summer, and we give you a good idea of what to look for, and we put out the cases to we think Penn State's going to be pretty good. We had our top 25 out Tuesday. I got Penn State at number 1 on mine. And some people do like that. Some people are thinking they may be number 1, but a lot of the poll setters like Texas. They're at plus 500 to take a shot at winning a national championship. Ohio State also tied with them up there. Georgia, Penn State, Oregon, Clemson. Clemson and Alabama are both at plus 1,000. Notre Dame's right under them. Now, that being said, now we went through Penn State, and, they got everybody coming back. I mean, they have most all their guys. So why, to get a little bit of pushback of why you couldn't have them won, then you could, you can say, well, the quarterback, Drew Aller, Nick Singleton, and Allen kid, defensive players, the Sutton kid, and also Durant and their safety, Wheatley. Several of the others who started 24 also are expected to. All these guys are going to be back. Also, you did have some enter the portal, and you had some guys to go pro. But most of all, Penn State also returns that their starting linebackers, the DeLuca. I know you remember that name, the DeLuca kid, And then also returning starters, the cornerbacks. I mean, you get cornerbacks. They just got guys at all the levels coming back. I mean, they have about 70 or so % of their roster back. Now, some of the guys leaving, they did lose some receivers. The Miller kid and also Johnson. And I got my notes here. And it said that the safety, of course, Mills, he entered the transfer portal. But these other guys, the safety kid, they got some good players back, but the only returning guy is a good returner. Now, we could say if you want to pick a hole in the argument, we're talking about Penn State maybe having a shot to win it. I'd put them one on my top 25. Yes, two of their most experienced safeties, Reed and Winston Jr., they're going to the NFL. So, but Coach Franklin he's recruited. Penn State's recruited well for the past couple of years. And I mentioned the key players come back. The Wheatley kid, the Bell come back. He's played plenty of time, but there are some guys that left. We talked about the Winston kid already, and everybody knows the defensive guy, Abdul Carter. If you don't know who he is, then just jogging your memory. He was their guy. He played D end over there, and he's a good football player, and he's going to be playing NFL now. But some guys back, the Smith kid that plays on the other end over there for them is going to be back, and you had some guys come in, White, and then linebacker Kobe King returning for his senior season. So I think they have enough pieces coming back, and also your defensive coordinator. Well, we've been talking about how Ohio State has lost some of their pieces. Ohio State, Chip Kelly left, took off, went to the Raiders. So I think that there's enough pieces for them for Penn State to make a good push at it again. I mean, you got most of your offensive star power, good backfield, enough guys on the offensive line to help make a difference. But since we're talking about the Big Ten, we'll stay on Big Ten. Ohio State. Ohio State has probably one of the most talked about receivers besides 17-year-old Ryan Williams. Jeremiah Smith. So with him coming back, these key guys, Trayvon Henderson in the defensive back, Davison, Igbenson, the quarterback position is still being contested. Supposedly Sayin that's what I heard today. I heard Sayin was probably going to be the guys. So just a better breakdown of that. Also, we talked about Penn State. Ohio State has a new they've got a coordinator, the Heartline guy. Well, also the Patricia guy he come from the NFL. He's at Ohio State now, right? Because the Ohio State's defense coordinator went to Penn State. And he brought, if Jeff's on here, he could tell you he turned Ohio State's defense from, like 40th into one of the top defenses in the country. Now, I know it helps to have Caleb Downs and that crazy, insane linebacker that they had last year. The one everybody was comparing, Bosa, said he was a lot like him. So here's the thing. With that being said, and how the ties of Ohio State and Penn State that they have together, the D coordinator from Ohio State is at Penn State. They're going to be better there. They got their offensive guys back. Check. So that's the case for them. That's why I got them one. I think they have good weapons to put them in the top. They've got the experience. They've been there in the playoffs, made a good run, and probably one play short of playing for national championship. I mean, just honestly. Now, can Coach Franklin can he get the job done? That's always been the question with him. He's always just – you can't win the big games. They always say that. This year will be a great year for him to do that. I mean, this will be a great time for Coach Franklin. So, again, back into Ohio State. I just had to make those comparisons to lay everything out clear so, everybody can get a good idea of why, I would make such a crazy pick, because everybody loves Texas. Offensively, Trayvon Henderson, the back for Ohio State, and the Hisman is expected to be the starter. Also, after earning some playing time, we'll see him play later on in the year. What number was he? Was he 23? Okay. So defensively, we talked about 3 important guys coming back. Sonny Styles also returning and will be one of the leaders on the defense. Last year, he's a big kid, 6'4". I'm trying to get some stuff on him here. Yeah, he's a junior this year. That's why I thought he's a senior. He's not. He's a junior. He played at Pinkerton Central up there, come out of school. He's one of the most talented, terrific athletic players who you'll see as one of the top players in America this season, candidate for a lot of post-season honors, including All-American, Butkus Award, Remington, et cetera, et cetera. He's only 21 years old. He's played 41 games and started 28 times. There's just a long laundry list of last year, second team All-Big Ten, and 23 was honorable mention, and in 22 he was a scholar athlete. You need to look this kid up. I don't think he gets enough talk. Sonny Styles, number 6 for Ohio State. A lot of talk about him. Special teams wise, and that's something that, and I don't, it's got to be talked about. You've got to talk about special teams. But without special teams, guys, that is really important. Special teams is insanely important. I mean, it is. Without special teams, then, what do you really got? I mean, you go up there with a bad punter and see what happens. See how it costs you a game to have a bad punter. I mean, are you kidding me? It's a disaster. You go up there and try to kick a field goal and win a game, it could be a complete disaster. I think it's going to be – I think it is extremely important for all the special teams, and you need to be able to decide who has who, and it's just something that nobody talks about it, because you know what? If me talking about special teams right now, I bet anything, a lot of people right now are going, I don't want to talk about special teams. I want to talk about the quarterback. We want to talk about the running back. Okay, I know. But for Ohio State, their special teams unit will be part of their strong core features. They have a lot of guys coming back, punters, kickers, shooters and tacklers and gunners and stuff coming back on their special teams. I know it's boring to talk about special teams because you want to talk about the quarterback. So we want to talk about Julian Sayin. Okay, so what about him? Well, he was down here he's down here at the old Alabama. He played at Carlsbad, then to Alabama. Been Ohio State portal last year. He entered the transfer portal after starting classes, and he transferred to Ohio State, etc. Number 1 quarterback here, number 1 player in California by both on 3 and 24/7. So that's a notable mention. Because, look, all the talk this summer, and we're talking about, guys have the best shot, probably winning the championship. And we talked about Penn State, their offense, where they're at. Defensively, they lost Abdul Carter. The guys that they got, they're pretty good. He's recruited pretty well. They're probably not a lot of depth, but they're probably okay. We're talking about Ohio State now. They did lose their, the big time backs, but they still have Smith at receiver. And with Klubnik and Nussmeier, which Nuss I heard is towards ACL. I've heard that twice. Now, supposedly, I got from inside from a guy that I know knows a guy down there. He supposedly strained his ACL or strained his knee. Now, the first thing come out is always going to be what he tore his ACL. And that may be some wishful thinking by Alabama fans or Clemson fans or whatever. So, but we're talking about Sayin, okay? So I don't mean to get off there, but I was just saying the fact that Nuss and Klubnik, Lagway, Sellers, these guys are getting all the talk through the summer. All the talk through the summer. Hey, while you're here right now, go ahead and hit that little thumbs up right there on the bottom of the screen or here on Facebook. Just hit the little blue. If you're on YouTube, just thumbs up. Bam. Just hit it right now. It's real easy. Bam. Just hit it. You're done. Okay. I would really appreciate it right now because it helps circulate the video better. If it sees a lot of thumbs up on there, it really would help me a lot. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. He come out of California. Saban visited this kid. He came from a real prominent high school out in California at Carlsbad High School. And Carlsbad High School, if you just don't know, then I have to tell you that you need to look it up. And we're not going to get in a rabbit hole. I'm just trying to lay out it's kind of like being a lawyer. I feel like I'm a lawyer sometimes. Like I'm trying to lay out a case, of why is this kid good, And I'm saying that all those other guys got all the talk through the summer, man. They just did. They got all the talk. Julian Sayin, man, he's a good player. Dude, this kid come highly rated out of high school. Saban picked him up and talked to him probably before anybody else did. And I'm going to go here to their high school page. These guys in their league, which they play the Avocado League. Okay, now this is in California. They went 10-2 overall, and they went out to Lincoln. Looks like in probably second or third round. So I'm trying to give you an idea of who this kid is and where he plays at. So I'm trying to show, is he really that good? Where did he come from? I did this same kind of stuff. I did it right over there on with Arch Manning. I did the same stuff. And I'll pull it up here on the screen and we'll look at it. Now, this is just showing who is Sayin. Who is this guy? What are you talking about, Matt? Julian Sayin. Who's this kid? Nick Saban talked to him. So, Nick is known to have pulled a few good quarterbacks. Okay. He does have some that won Heisman and whatever. So this is their region right here. This was the year that he was there, 22, 23. There were 7 teams. They finished and won this region. Okay. So, all right. So these other teams you can see were all 4-2 behind them. It looks like the bottom 3 teams weren't that good. So it seems like they were the teams to beat. Just Carlsbad. It's out in California. Let's go back to his junior year, and we'll see how they did then. Same thing. 6-0 region, first team, first Avocado League, and it looks like they went and lost in the last round there to Cathedral Catholic. So these are little rabbit holes you get into, and you get over here to Cathedral Catholic. So they won all their games. Look at the scores. You see the scores here. And Carlsbad, Julian Sayin, the quarterback at Ohio State, played high school football in California, trying to say, Matt, how could Ohio State have a chance to win? They lost their quarterback. We don't know nothing about this Julian Sayin. Saban recruited him back a couple of years ago, but all we hear is Klubnik this and, Sellers that and Nussmeier this. Well, his high school junior year, it looks like he lost at Carlsbad to the state champ. Because this team right here that beat them, the Catholic school, went all the way on down and won and beat Folsom pretty handedly. So we're trying to get some kind of idea of this quarterback and try to figure out about Ohio State. If you're going to pick them to win, we know Caleb Downs is going to run the defense. He's a mastermind on defense. He's just one of those kind of guys that coach can just kind of go out there and coach Patricia. And it's going to be pretty easy for Downs to just be able to run the defense, even though they don't have a new defense coordinator. And does that worry me? Sure, I has to. Jeff, where you at? You got to tell me that Ohio State, you have to be worried about them getting a new offense and defensive coordinator. They got two new guys. So when you're watching on ESPN, you're just seeing Ohio State, picked second or third here. They have this plus 600, chance of winning the national championship. And you're thinking, well, okay, yeah, sounds good. They went last year. So when you stand around doing locker room talk, hanging out with the guys, or water cooler talk, and when your buddy says, well, Sayin come from Bama, so maybe he's pretty good, or some guy says, we don't know nothing about him, there's no reason to pick Ohio State to win it. Well, maybe you want to go put $100 down on it. And before somebody talks you into doing it, you need to know. Let's get over this way. You need to know that Sayin is – what are you saying, Sayin? You need to know about this kid. So we've done a little history study on him and found out – I knew he played at Carlsbad out in California. It's like he's a good quarterback, okay? So what else do we need to know? What else do we need to know about them? And all these people are talking about – we've talked about Penn State. We talked about Ohio State. So – who's somebody else? Well, not new on the scene, but not a lot of people are talking. A lot of people are talking about Texas. Texas is getting a lot of talk about national championship and that kind of stuff. What's up, Ben? AJ does. Yeah, I did see that one. You're talking about the Dynasty podcast, I think, probably with AJ and Trent, saying that Michigan was going to beat Oklahoma with a freshman. Well, but I'm telling you now, we'll talk about him if you want to. The quarterback at Underwood. Woo! He's a dude. Man, he looks like a – I followed him in recruiting because I was hoping he'd hang around here in the SEC somewhere at least or something, but, he's good, man. He was locked in for LSU for a while. He's the one that Barstow Sports come in and bought for Michigan. Now, we're going to talk about our third team here. The Fighting Sweeneys of Clemson. Okay, Klubnik, who we've talked about, several of the wide receivers, key offensive linemen, and their defensive players. Dean broke them down the other week. They got 80-something% of their players back. And it's an easy pick to pick them to be, to make the playoffs for sure. I mean, who wouldn't pick them? What's up, Greg? Maddox, Brain Garden, True Blue. Who wouldn't pick, Clemson to be a good shot at winning this thing? Why not? They got 80-something% or 90% of their players back. It's like 88%. But that's easy to pick. Tony Williams at wide receiver. You got Moore. You got the Wesco kid is probably one of the talented kids on the team. Center, left tackle, right tackle, guards. You got the left guard, the Sewell kid that's All-American, All-ACC. And then the Pat Henry kid was expected to be also a big name for them. Defensively, Parker Woods, he was a disruptive force last year for the defensive line, is also back for another year. The Held It kid also is coming back here. He was a Purdue transfer, is going to be playing at Clemson. Samuel Brown, another top returning tackler. Barnes, safety, talented safety with multiple interceptions, forced fumbles in the 2 seasons, is going to return here to lead the secondary. guys like analyst Matt Miller has identified Terrell, their corner, as one of the top cornerback prospects in the draft. So Clemson is an easy pick. You got a guy coming back that's throwed for almost 5,000 yards. He ran for 600 yards, 7, 8 touchdowns. He throwed for 36 touchdowns, and I think he only had like 6 or 7 picks. That sounds like a good recipe to success. I mean, it's like looking at a recipe and you old fat boy like me, and you see a good recipe. Greg, you ain't too much fat boy anymore. You've done lost too much weight. But old fat boys like me, if you see a good recipe for chocolate cake, you cannot tell, if it's like cream cheese icing or something, you're like, bro, that's going to be good. That's an easy recipe. You pick that one up, you make it, it's going to be good before you make it. That's what this is. Clemson is that easy recipe. You flip through your mama's little box there. Boom. Right there you go. It's an easy pick. All these guys back. Dabo's a winner. Guys won it twice. Beat the brakes off Alabama. I mean, he beat Alabama like the redheaded stepchild. Like they stole something. I mean, they run 2 in them. It was never close. I don't know if it was ever really close. I mean, from like the second play of the game, jump screen, boom, gone, house, touchdown. Clemson up 7-0. First drive, Bama had the ball. So this will be Clemson's a good. If you want to, do water cooler talk, that's what this is. This is locker room sports. You want to hang out with your buddies and talk football around the cooler and stuff. This would be part of that. Just like saying Julian Sayin at Ohio State, probably be an odds maker for Heisman. He'd be an easy pick. And you start throwing names out there like Lagway if he could stay healthy, stuff like that. You could probably say them. So Clemson went through a little bit of that. I named 7 or 8 players. We're talking about All-American, All-ACC, but they're in the ACC. So I always have a but. See, with Ohio State, I said they got these guys back. Talked to you about the quarterback, told you where he was from, give you some of his history, California, big-time athlete, number 1 state, whatever, played at Carlsbad. Big-time prominent high school program. But Ohio State's got 2 new coordinators. Defensive, offense coordinator new. And they lost a pretty good bit of pieces on defense, too. But having Downs does help. And we'll do Bama. And we'll probably do what have been on here? Yeah, we'll do one more after this. Alabama. Who's the number 2 team? Stephen A. Smith. Alabama. Who's number 3? Alabama. Who's 4? Alabama. That's hardly, you're going to get none of that from anybody. There's even people out there as ASA 9 and ASA 10 and 13 not even have Bama in the top 10. Really? I mean, we know what happened last year. It didn't meet up to the standard. Nick Saban said, well, Saban's not there. It's a little bit different now. He had to take a quarterback that he had to keep because if he didn't keep Milroe and he benched him about halfway through the season like most of us would have, DeBoer's personality seems like he wanted to try to make a lot of people happy. And you can't try to make people happy. I mean, if you're going to try to do that, you need to go sell ice cream. If you just want to make people happy, go sell ice cream. Don't be a coach of a football team because you're going to make some people mad because you got to make the decisions that nobody else wants to make, especially being the head guy. His hands was tied, not having his coordinator. I'm just telling you what happened. I don't know. I ain't saying that this is why necessarily that they lost the games they did. Just telling you things that happened. Make your own assessment. So now that's all gone. It's in the past. The thing is, guys, I was a fan of them before Saban, before Perkins, before Gene Stallings. So, and when this bunch coaches is there for, I don't know, I probably see him hanging around for 7, 8 years, probably winning the title or one. He ought to win 1 and 2. I'll say they win 2 in 8 years. Okay, 2 and 7 or something like that. And they move on to NFL or whatever it is they decide to do. And the next coach takes over. I'm still going to be a fan. You know, I'm not one of those ridiculous fans that just, you know, my whole life depends on it. I used to be that way when I was in my 20s. I was younger. I was crazy about it, you know. Kids grow up to put down kid things. You be a grown up and be stoked in reality a little bit. And like when I stoke the Auburn fans, their reality, you know, they don't like it. Because I'm a fan of the other team up the road that I can't critique their team, which is asinine. Because I know what I see. I got 4 eyes, I can see well. So with all that, laying out the history of Bama and what it is and what it was, but what will it be? But what it will be is you got almost all the defense back except for really probably one. Okay. Offensively, lost your quarterback, and you lost a left guard. That I personally, nice kid, man. Booker seemed like a real nice young guy. I seen him interviewed several times. Tyler was a big spokesman for the university. I think he was probably played part in keeping kids there at the university when everybody they lost over 40 players hit the portal. 40. And this team just won 9 games. They had 40 kids leave when Saban left. That's what I think a lot of people missed. I was like, darn, they won 9 games. They should have won 10 for sure, and maybe could have won 11. Oklahoma, they shouldn't have lost that game. Offense couldn't score. Because Milroe couldn't get out of his own head. He wanted to run his plays. When they called him in from the sideline, some of the plays were getting changed up. Just telling you. When I heard from people that are in down there and know stuff, which they didn't come out till just here, you know, a month ago, because they didn't want to say that until he got gone. And the board didn't want to ruffle no feathers and let him bench him, or because he's afraid he'd lose the team. First year in. And that's his decision, ain't mine. So those things, you know, what are you going to do? Now he does have his guy back, has his coordinator. Let's get in the present moment. And I just told you they had 9, 10 guys back on defense from same offense, same guys back. Tyler Booker's gone. Don't think it's a big loss. Quarterback's gone. Don't think it's a big loss. They're just going to be better. And you're going to have a real offense-minded guy. And that's why I can't get why. Well, I shouldn't say why. I know why. Because he's just just old, bitter, washed-up reporter, you know, from ESPN to Fox and called old radio stuff. And he's got a big name and a big voice. And when people hear his voice, they know who he is. I don't know if he's kind of bothered because nobody cares about his opinion anymore. And I don't know if that's part of it. But, you know, Tim Brando not putting Alabama in the top 10, it's just you can't have all those guys back of that level of talent. And having Grubb, Batman and Robin back together, you would have to assure that they finished 12 by the poll last year. Well, they couldn't be, you know, lower for sure. You know, with a better coordinator in there, Sheridan's going to be back at helping the QBs where he was at Washington. He took that team and beat Dan twice, beat Sark. It's been around, man. You can't go by all the things you already know and know what they lost was not a big deal to thinking they're not even a top 10 team. What? Now, nobody's saying Ty Simpson's going to win the Heisman, but you have to have a little faith in the staff based on what you've seen. Winning percentage-wise, he's beat more top 25 programs by percentage than they are smart. He's like 15-3. No, we don't have as more wins by number, but by percentages, you see what I'm saying? I mean, what goes into 15 three times? 5. So his percentage is good. So, what do you really got? They lost 42, I think it's 42 players. 42 players, and they won 9 games. I'm still amazed by that. I think that's pretty good. And then come into spring this year and lose 9. So that tells me that the players are in whatever DeBoer's selling. They're smelling what he's stepping in. Most of the players, Parker Browsford, from Jaden Roberts, Damian Jackson, linebackers, 0, Dante Lawson. Showed you him last week in practice. Yeah, he had a knee brace on. Jam Miller, we saw him. And Jeremiah Bernard was just blowed us all away last year. Very well-spoken young man. It's going to do a good job. Breakout player that a lot of people are talking about. Running back-wise, this Drake kid, man, he's come on the scene at practice, and he looks like a young version of Mark Ingram. How he's built. The calves and the hip and the thighs and arms. He's kind of, 220-ish. He's kind of that size. He looks like an SEC running back. He don't look like small frame running back like goes like in a place with ACC or something. Those 180, 190-pound backs. He's going to be really good. And Rico Scott, Jalen Hale, he's back. Jalen got hurt last year, remember? He didn't get to play. You're going to have 4 quality receivers. Probably by there, I know you can't really guard and go by Hale because he didn't play last year. And Rico Scott is kind of a guesstimate, a perspective of what we think. But, to be like Singleton, okay, like at Auburn. Yeah, we've seen him play, but that was at Georgia Tech. His best game, they say, was against Georgia. He had like 70 yards and a touchdown. That's Ryan Williams smoked that. If that guy's up for an award, and he's going to come to play for a running quarterback at Auburn that got benched at Oklahoma, and then they put him on a list for an award, I don't know. I don't know where you get that from. So you don't have something nice to say. You don't supposed to say nothing at all. So I don't know why they said anything at all. We can assume a lot of things. These 4 guys, and you're going to add Mbakwa. Mbakwa is played Wildcat quarterback against Thompson and pretty much just single-handedly. I watched the game. Just beat him. Pretty much just wild on his own. So your offense, if Ty can just throw the ball well, and he's a good quarterback. You want to talk about him? We'll dig into him too. We'll pull him up here. Go back to high school. Where did he play at? Where's he from? He was an Elite 11 guy. He waited his turn. He knows the playbook. He's not new. Nobody at DeBoer's not walking out on the field or Grubb, or Sheridan, okay, the QB coach, and not saying, yeah, I'm having trouble. Me and Ty are like talking about like when it's 3rd and 5 on this RPO, I don't, what do you want me to do with the ball, coach? I don't really know what to do. They're not having that conversation. The offense is not new to him. Yes, Grubb's there, and it's going to be kind of whatever, but it's still the same kind of stuff. I mean, Sheridan worked under Grubb, so he's going to run his plays. See what I'm saying? There's no reason these guys shouldn't score 30 a game. No reason. No reason. Now, defense. Womack, it's bad enough you're filling a job at Alabama. So you're going to be under the microscope. But something in my tooth. Piece of rice. But not only are you going to be under that microscope because of where you're coaching, and Kirby's been gone a while, and I wouldn't have been a Golden fan. His third down defense was terrible. He'd have guys in there when we need to be rushing. He would leave the big guys in. I didn't get that. But you got to fill in kind of in that spot of where Kirby was. And, Kirby's he's a legend at Alabama. I mean, he's going to be always talked about as one of the best D coordinators to ever coach there. And, yeah, I know it's easy to coach good defense when you got the best players. Sure. But you still got to scheme it. And you still got to be a good enough coach to recruit them and get them there. This defense, with all these guys coming back, Overton, Keenan, Latham, Justin Jefferson, Sabb, Damian Jackson, then you got guys coming in like Taylor and Calhoun that's come in and is playing well. Then you got freshman guys coming in like Lee and those guys coming and playing linebacker and stuff that are freshmen that their people are looking at it at practice. I put up a clip of him the other day. Dude, this guy's a linebacker. He's like 6'3", 240. He's a 5-star athlete. They're not going to be short at these positions this year or next year or probably the next. They already got some guys to the 27 class. They got a guy named Chicken. That's what they call him. They got a 5-star kid coming already. So from those guys, returning, and Womack, the way he set the defense up and how they finished the year last year and kind of learned each other, I think they learned some big lessons at the Vanderbilt game. I think they learned some real big lessons from the Vanderbilt game. Send this over here. So I have a great feeling that, Alabama will be they'll have a good chance at it, man. They have a really, really good chance at it. I mean, why wouldn't they? Now, Ty Simpson, quarterback, junior, played a little while. He come out of Martin, Tennessee. I don't know if ESPN puts up a lot of – they don't. It's kind of sad they don't. You have to rely on other places to find out, like high school stuff. Played at Westview High School up in Tennessee. He enrolled back February of 21. He's been there a while. Rivalry Industry ranked him a 5-star, a 97 overall. Ty Simpson, physical attributes and play style or movement patterns remind people of Matt Corral. Like Carroll, Simpson is a twitchy mover, both in and out of the pocket. Both have outstanding foot quickness with the ability to plant and drive their feet over the 6'1" mark, over the 210-pound marks. Size with speed, ability to drive the ball, and also to have, an off-speed style. 22, he had over 1,000 yards as a senior. And they saw Matt Corral handle a heavy rushing load at Ole Miss. The offense was 600 yards and 11 scores. So this is just, on three guys kind of predicting where he was the number 2 in the state. He was the number 25 quarterback in the nation. Talking about Ty Simpson at Bama. I mean, people were claiming a lot of stuff. So, what about him? What about his high school playing? Martin, Tennessee, Westview High School football schedule. He left there, been at Bama, so he'd have been there in 2021, been his senior year. Overall, they're 6-5, 3A Region 7. Been his They finished 4th in that region behind Midland, South Gibson, Covington, McNairy Central. I'm trying to see if I recognize some of these names. Let's go to his. See, 1920 would have been his last year. So they went 6-5. Looks like they went out round 1, played Woodall, South Gibson, Lake County, Covington, Obion County, McNair Central. Won a lot of games. You got the roster. And right there, number 6, Ty Simpson. He was a sophomore. So junior, senior. Yeah, 21, 22. I think he was already gone by then. Yeah. Okay. So you can click on him here. 6'2", 185, high school. 5-star 2022 mixtape signing day. Shows a video of signing day for him. I was going to see if it would give Isaiah Bond, Kobe Prentice, Pope, Alexander, Henderson. Okay, he was all in that. He was all in that class there. Okay, stats wise, look at some of his stats for a year. Didn't run the ball a whole lot. Looks like he only played a game or two. So he'd have played the next year. Yeah, we're just finding out about him. So he didn't play a whole lot his sophomore year. Played a game. It's like he played a game and threw for 150 yards and a touchdown. So that'd be 19. Finding out about Ty Simpson. That's what everybody wants to know. Why is this guy being picked? Why is Bama being? Why do they even think they're going to be any good? Who knows anything about Ty Simpson? Well, you don't know nothing about Ty Simpson. Well, this is how you find out. This is how you do it right here. What up, Ben? What up, Zach? I'm just trying to be the people's champ here, bro. I'm trying to answer the questions of the people. Well, how do we know he's going to be any good? I don't know. Roster, schedule. I'm trying to find. We're talking about Ty Simpson. He played a game as a sophomore. It's just not having him on here. So he played at Westview Chargers varsity football up in Martin, Tennessee. 2020 roster. He'd have to be. He's already at Bama. That was his first year. So 21-22 should have been his senior year there. Oh, they went 15-1. They went 5-0. His senior year. Trying to find him on here. Don't show him. They don't even put half the people on there. Okay. So we showed about where he plays at. What's going on, everybody? Let's see who hit the peanut gallery before we get back on there. We was talking about Ty Simpson. Nobody knows nothing. We talk about Klubnik all the time, and we talked about Nuss all the time. We don't know crap about Sayin. We just went back through that, talked to you about Ohio State's quarterback, played out in California. Carlsbad. We're breaking down getting some info. We're figuring this out together. So what we do is locker room sports talk. We just dudes hanging out, talking ball, and hey, we don't know. Let's find out. Where's old Ty Simpson? Where do he play at? Zach said it looks like a pass before he runs anyway. He keeps his eyes downfield. It seems that way. Arch Mannings said that if he does it accept his grandson Arch Manning to declare for the 26 draft. Each Manning is considered one of the top eligible quarterbacks for 26. Huh. Yeah, Greg McElroy he was kind of an unknown. He was. What's up, Tanner? He was kind of an unknown kind of player. Come from where did he play at, Zach? Lakeview? From Texas out there? I always mess it up for Greg. West Carroll, Texas, some big shot high school. I mean, Greg was a gunslinger, man. He's a good football player. Southlake, yeah. So there's, talking about Julian Sayin. We're talking about the defensive guys back from Keenan to Overton. You got new freshman guys that came last year, guys that finished with the top 7 class. They're going to finish with the top 5 class this year. You got all these linemen back. I don't think that Booker is a real miss. I don't know. Who else thinks that Tyler Booker is going to be not a big miss? I don't. I like the young guy, and I've watched him on podcasts, and I'll say it again. I think that Tyler Booker probably kept Alabama together. They had 42 players jump. They lost half the football team. Half the team when Saban said he was retiring. They lost half the team, man. Half the team hit the road. We gone. Saban's out. We gone. We're going over here and get some money. Because they'll pay them. Oh, you played Alabama? Yeah, well, so-and-so. He went down there at Roydale, went to Florida State. I'm going to Florida State. I'm going here where I can eat. You know how many rushing yards Roydale Williams had at Florida State for the season? Oh, about 100. Should have hung around, man. Should have hung around. So we talked about Sayin, where he was at. We talked about Alabama, their chances. This Bama team's got a lot of players back. And you got old clowns like Tim Brandon that's still butthurt that Saban left LSU. He told me on Twitter that I was a Bammer, and I don't know nothing because if you're a fan of one team that he don't like, then you're a fool and you can't disagree with him. Because either he's right and nobody else is. It's a dictatorship. No, it's just called being an old fool. You can tell me something different. I don't. I mean, just because you're a fan of Auburn, of course Auburn fans are going to bump up their wide receivers. We got the best receiving core in the SEC, Matt. What are you talking about? That's what they're supposed to say. They're fans of that team. I ain't got nothing against that. We don't know the proof of. We don't got proof of nothing. Let me pull this image back up here again. Put this back up here on the screen. Look right there what it says. Bottom left corner, if you can read it. This post is absolutely useless. It is. It's my top 25. We don't know nothing. What do we know right now? We're on here talking about trying to make a case for who we think is going to win the national championship. Who's got a shot at it? We ain't got a stinking clue. But we can have a guess. And this top 25, it's just kind of a guess based on who I know is coming back, how they did last year, what pieces are improved last year that they needed to be improved. That's all it is. Yeah, South Lake Carroll. That's where Greg might come from. Nobody know about him? Now, here's the last team we'll do, and we'll get off here. Y'all can enjoy your Thursday night. Thank y'all for so much for stopping by. Hit the thumbs up right there. If you're on YouTube watching, man, hit the thumb right there. It's real easy. Bam, just hit it. Boom. Boom. That's that easy. Boom, thumbs up. YouTube, little blue thumb. Bing, bang, boom. Hit it 2 or 3 times. See the little thing says send stars. Click the star, and then put in 100. It's $1. 100 stars is $1. Well, appreciate it. Let's hit the old thumb right there. Quinn Ewers and the almighty $50 million Texas Longhorns. Hook 'em. Wow. It seems nearly like the Clemson pick. And if I'll pull my top 25 back up, and you see where I got Texas. Matt, why you got them for? I trust them. The only reason I got Penn State 1, because I'm not a real trustee of Franklin either. But you Longhorns right here, new quarterback, I don't care what his last name is. It's about experience. And if anybody wants to do the research that I did about 2 years ago when they brought him out and he was 4-star, I started watching him. As soon as he decided he may be going to Alabama, he may be going over there because he's going to play at Ole Miss, follow old Uncle Eli over there. As soon as he decided where he's going, bam, 5 stars. Like, hold on a minute now. Just hold on. Where this kid play at? He played at a little small school, Louisiana, some little small district, and I started watching some huddle film and that type of stuff. I had a password then to get in. I don't now. Guys, he was like a man running around out there with kids. You ever seen some of the teams they were playing? Have y'all seen film of Derrick Henry playing high school? It just looks like, well, is that the janitor out there running the football? Who the heck is that guy? He looks 36 years old. Who is that? That's what Arch looked like. He did. That's what he looked like. So says Texas football returned 9 starters from the upcoming season. Key returning starters would have included Quinn Ewers and Blue and the lineman Banks and all those guys. But that ain't how it's going this year. Last year, I think that was probably their better chance to win it. I'm just telling you. I think that was the best chance to win it was last year. Now, they spent a bunch of money, and I know they've got some guys come in, and I understand all that. Arch Mannings, C.J. Baxter, I like him. I do. I've watched him all through recruiting and stuff. And defensive player Trey Moore, and they had that linebacker, that Wingo kid. You know, if he's a Wingo, he's a wildfire Wingo from Coosa. If you know, you know. DeAndre Moore, the Taffy kid, all those guys have been on. They were on all SEC list. They were all on all SEC list. The Ethan Burke kid, they've got enough guys to come back to where this year. See, the problem with Texas has always been their defense. It's just kind of where it's been. Now, they've always, if you watched them play last year, offensive line had no trouble. They couldn't beat Georgia. They couldn't do it. If they could have mixed this year's defense with last year's offense, I think it could have been. I wasn't a real big doer of Quinn Ewers. Did y'all really like him? I mean, tell me, what y'all think? Do you think Quinn was like he was a stud quarterback at Texas? They couldn't win them games, man. He struggled at Vanderbilt. But their defense this year is the staple. They went out and spent a bunch of money. The Barron kids, returning defense back, who expect to be the key player of their secondary, and then also the Macumba kid returns. I think he's a senior this year. So they got some guys to come back and play senior ball. I think 2 of their high safeties, their free safety and the wolf position guy, defensive ends and tackles, the Collins kid, the Barrington kid, defensive tackle who's expected to be another key player on the defensive line, the Vernon Broughton or whatever, and then the Ham kid at tight end. And I guess I'm curious about this guy right here. No, he went undrafted. That's what I thought. I want to check on this Ham kid to see what happened to him. 2025 Titans. Okay. That's what I had to check on. That's why you got to check it. Texas. Yeah, the Broughton kid. And they had some guys go pro, but I'm telling you, they've spent some money. They spent some money this year. $50 million. That's the word on the streets. That's what the old man said. We're looking down here at their ends. This Elon Burt kid still there, 6'6", 260 pounds. He's like a fifth-year senior there, man. From at their defensive end. I'm just trying to lay it out, and y'all can decide how you want to. I know what it looks like, and I think that there's a lot of weight being laid because of he's a Manning. I think it's just because of who he is. They do says they have a strong chance of winning it for this season, especially right there. And you just look up AI. Like ChatGPT is going to tell you, yes, they have a large percentage chance of winning, especially with Arch Manning returning as quarterback and solid roster returning across the board. The team boasts a talented roster entering the starters and a strong recruiting class, positioning them as top contender in the SEC next year, blah, blah, blah. That's because this, ChatGPT and how that stuff works, it just pulls off of articles. It searches 1,000 articles, 10,000, in 1 second. So that's what you got. And they were at a plus 600 to win it all this year, just like a lot of others there. And y'all got to look at my top 25, and y'all can laugh and make fun. That's fine. That's okay. I mean, that's just my opinions. I got Penn State number 1. I laid out the case when we rolled in here. Notre Dame, Clemson, Texas, Ohio State, 5. Then I got Bama, 6, Georgia, 7, LSU, 8, Oregon, 9, Arizona State, 10, Illinois, 11, 12, Miami. I think for the most part, outside of South Carolina, Iowa State, maybe Kansas State, maybe. And it's just because these are some Big Ten teams here, Iowa State, whatever. I think most of those probably top 12 or so or 11, those are probably going to be teams in a different order. They're going to be mixed around in there somewhere at the end. Write it down, take a picture of it, and prove me wrong. Say, Matt, you're crazy. What are you talking about? Bama should be number 1. Yeah, Bond went to where did he go? He was undrafted. Since Charlie Strong. Yeah, he was good there. I always liked him. Zach says Bama wins it all, so he's been a Bammer. That's okay. He's an Alabama fan. He's what he's supposed to say. What he's supposed to say. I'm picking Washington to win it all. Pressure makes diamonds. Yeah, so that's kind of it for the day. I just kind of want to lay it out, those top 5, 6 teams. Some of them are easy pickings, and some of them you need to think about. Some of them we don't know why we're picking them. I mean, most people, like everybody else, you work all day, man. You come home, you turn on ESPN, you watch it, you eat dinner for an hour and shower, and you go to bed 8 or 9 o'clock, maybe do a little bit of reading or something. You don't know everything that's going on. But if you hit right here, hit that subscribe button, boom, just tune in right here. I'm doing the homework for you. Staying up late, getting up early, because I like doing it. Subscribe here. Come by and hang out with us Tuesday, Thursday. Sunday's the big show. We'll stay on about 2 hours, break down a bunch of different stuff. But Tuesday, Thursday, come on about an hour, 45 minutes or an hour, and do stuff like this. Hey, I don't know. Why is people picking Texas? Well, we broke some of their players down. Who's Ohio State got? Oh, they got what's his name? Howard. No, he's gone. Huh? Who's their quarterback? I don't know. We talked about their quarterback. Talked about where he was from. And you could say, you can have a good, knowledge of what's going on. At least say, no, Big Man, so Sayin's a quarterback up there. Looked like he's pretty good in high school. Played at Cat's Bad High School out in California. Finished in the top of his class. Saban loved him. What I worry about Ohio State, and this is why some people are hiring him. I laid out all these teams, and I've laid out each one of what I worry about, and I've given the reasons why. Penn State, because of the coach. He take you to the front door. He won't kiss you goodnight. Boom. Next, Ohio State, new offense, new defense coordinator. Their defense coordinator is at Penn State. Boom. Check Penn State. Ohio State's defense went from 44th to about 5 with that guy. I think that's pretty good. We laid out a case here so you can know when you go to talking smack about the other team, you can say, well, this is why I like this team. This is why I like that team. Now, what's the negatives about Alabama and Texas? They also have a new coordinator. Alabama's got a new coordinator on offense. Sort of, kind of. It does help that the quarterback coach was the offensive caller there, and he did come from the offensive coordinator that's there now. So you got to take that into effect. And Ty's not really started games. Was he good? Sure. Like Julian Sayin at Ohio State. Was he good in high school? Come out? Yeah. Top of the class. Simpson was number 5 quarterback in the nation. He was number 1 or 2 in the state. Played up there at Westview at Tennessee. So what do I not like about Texas? My first thought, and I'll just tell you, I mean, we're all friends here. I said I was just going to say Sark. Oh, man. Kirby's just he just got his butt, man. Kirby just outcoached him twice. They just have been a little short on defense. So what's the knock with Texas? The knock for me for Texas is the thing that pushes them to the front with everybody else. I guess I'm just different. So I don't make millions of dollars like freaking butt clowns like these jackwags that talk on Twitter all the time. They really make a lot of money doing this. I make a little bit. It's Manning, man. I don't know. I just don't know. All we can go by is what we saw. So it's the same with Ty Simpson. There's doubts. You're a little hesitant. And what makes it better, because Sark is a good play caller. And it's not like Manning has just showed up to Texas. Like Klubnik's not just showed up to Clemson. Dude's played there. Nuss, LSU, supposedly got a torn ACL. I think it's just strained. Jackson Arnold at Auburn, picking this guy to win a bunch of games. We don't know. He started Oklahoma and got benched. He can run around the ball well. I think he fits great for what Freeze wants to do there. I do. We just don't know. So it's all just pure speculation and butthurt stuff. Zach, thank you for the stars, buddy. I do appreciate you. Appreciate you very much. Pressure does make diamonds. Zach sent me a big old diamond. That's what it really is. And all these picks are just the same thing. Sark might can call some plays, but you just doubt his leadership. That may be it. I mean, we're just guessing. When in doubt about number 2 rule, refer back to number 1. In the bottom left corner, Zach, what does that say? This poll is absolutely useless. We don't know. We're just trying to guess. And I think a lot of these top 12s here they're probably going to be hanging around there. I think Iowa State may have a shot to get in there and mix it up. They might. Why you like Dabo, Matt? He's a winner. Dabo has won. Is he corny? Yes. Dabo's won a lot of football games, man. Did he get crushed by the SEC all 3 times last year? Yes. But he don't have to play in the SEC. They don't. And their state turns out a lot of good recruits. If he can keep all his home recruits there, I think for the round finished in the top 12, win the conference. That's what he did. What else you want from him, man? What do you want from him? Yeah, and I get so tired of hearing that. We're back, baby. I don't know. Texas Texas is back for what? What is Texas back for? Texas is back to what? I don't know. Let's get off here. Let's throw it up here on the old interweb screen there. For all your eye and vision care needs, make sure that you're seeing JR and April McKenzie. Fine people over here in Center, Alabama, also located in Fort Payne. Call them over here at the center office, 927-4030. Of course, area code is 256. That's Cherokee Eye Clinic, JR and April McKenzie ODs. Or go to CherokieEyeClinic.net. This is all brought to you by them, and we do appreciate them for always being hanging around here and being a sponsor for Locker Room Sports. So, guys, I guess we will see y'all. I guess we'll see y'all Sunday night. What about 6 o'clock? Find me over there on the big Twitter, X at Big Matt 1977. That's 2 G's. Make sure you put the 2 G's in there. All right. Thank y'all. God bless you. Y'all have a great evening. Zach, appreciate all you guys. Jeff, I didn't see Jeff on here. Ben, good to see you on here, brother. All right. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you.